All right, so I'm going to keep pulling this stuff because all this stuff is supposed to go with a smile. It's supposed to get a big, nice, swelled up cheek. Yeah, when you have a character this weird, you have a lot more work to do. And if you have a snout, you would have even a lot more work to do. In that case, I would just recommend just use a corrective blend shape at the PSD stage to fix it. So before I keep editing the smile, I've noticed something that was more visible from this angle. So for a smile, the skin on your face is supposed to be sliding on your teeth. And based off of where this character's teeth are, I am way behind where I should be. The skin is a lot farther behind than it's supposed to be, right? We're penetrating the teeth here. But the more I think about it, even if I was to bring this forward and have it sliding on the teeth correctly, I'm still really deep into the mouth. In a case like this, when I was creating a blend shape for this smile, for the original rig, my point for the corner of the mouth was a lot farther forward. And this is something I had to do because this is just an unrealistic face. So even though the rule is that I should be sliding on the teeth, I did give myself a little bit more cushion and come a lot more forward. So the corner of the mouth should be somewhere here, right? I'm going to bring it a lot more forward. And the way I'm going to do that is by editing the driving system. This driving system, controlling the smile, sent it too far back. When I start doing it, I'm first definitely going to pull it out a little bit to show you where it's supposed to be, just forward enough so that it's covering the teeth. But then you're going to see me come a lot more forward because if we look from the top, this is a really weird looking face, and we're just going to assume that she's a very cheeky person, and she's not going to be able to tuck in that far. So let me get started where I'm talking about. I'm going to edit the driving system by heading into the driving system section. And mind you, this is something that I could have done during the building phase, but I did tell you guys that I was going to start the weight fixes first before I did it. And you can do either or. You can decide to deal with this problem at the building phase when it gives you the result for your smile. But I think based off of what we had, which is what we had on this side, I needed to do a lot more smoothing or cleaning up of the weights before I did this. But let's jump into the pose section and get into the driving system section to deal with this. And to deal with this, I'm going to go back into build pose, and I'm going to try to edit this driving system with limits off. I know that's a little dangerous to try, but I'm going to try it anyway. I have any issues, I'll just turn the limits back on and do what is expected of me, which is edit the driving system at the limit. So around here, I'm going to hit edit driving systems. Okay, yeah, it looks like I might not be able to do it with limits off. So I'm going to go back to build pose and turn limits back on. Yeah, these driving systems are going to give you a maximum range on the timeline, and you can edit the driving system in between and also at the maximum point. So I suppose without limits, I'm confusing the system. So the limits go back on, and let me see what I can do at this maximum point. So if I go edit driving systems, all right, so it looks like it's not working. So I'm going to try to find this driving system by right-clicking on the edit and accessing it through here. So this is the smile. Okay, and it looks like it created the driving system from the right side. So it's giving me the controllers that affect the driving system. And as you can see, because I have show only affected, it's showing me what is impacting this smile driving system. So I'm going to grab these controllers and try to move them a little bit forward. See if it's going to help when start pushing beyond the maximum point. Let me hit 4 to find this corner control. Turn off geometry selection temporarily so I can get this corner control. Go to 5 and then move this thing forward. So now just even a little bit of forward movement should bring it so far forward that if you were to be pushing it past the limit, it'll change its trajectory and it wouldn't be going so far into the face. So this is a good starting point. And if we have to, we'll come back in here and do it again. I really do also want to do this because I want to get in there and make sure that this inside part of the cheek is also moving with the entire cheek. And to do that, I will have to be giving a lot of weighting for the inside of this cheek to the smile weighting. Anyway, so with that change made, I'm going to go apply. All right, and now I'm going to try it out again. So with my limits, off, I'm going to grab the corner of my mouth and move. Take a look at it. Okay, so it's come a lot more forward and it's cleared the teeth, so it worked. So that's a good thing, but we still have this very nasty bulge here that I have to repair. But yeah, we're heading in the right direction. It definitely cleared the teeth because I edited the driving system. Let me get back into cleaning up the weights until we get to a fairly good point. So now I realize that I may have made a mess of this side in an attempt to designate a lot more points to the smile weight. I took away from the cheek, and the cheek still has to be functioning properly. So I'm going to use another strategy to deal with this. And what I'm going to do first is reset my weights, at least on this side, with what was originally there. So let me just go to my mirror weights tool and switch the direction over here so that I get a weighting from right to left this time. Let me go to my build post, and if I go apply, all right, so I should get my original weighting back, which wasn't the best. Okay, so let me put this back in my weights tool and leave it open so that next time I apply it, I get the correct movement. But what I'm actually going to do is try to alter the driving system to give me a correct result while limits are on. All right, so I'm going to come over here, turn limits back on, and then head over to my driving systems, right click and head to that smile driving system again. And what I'm going to try to do is just give myself a little bit more cushion, push a little bit farther first. So let me grab my corner control. go just a little bit further to about the distance that I want this thing to go to, right? Because I think Advanced Skeleton did the kind of weighting it needs, and just want to push it a little bit farther here without ruining the weighting that the cheek is supposed to have on this. All right, let me do some molding here. Let me turn off joints too. Okay, yeah, this is what I did. I don't want to lose the influence on the cheek. The weighting is bad, but I gutted the entire weighting for it, and that was not the best idea. And so if I look at it from the top, try to simulate a nice crescent shape and a nice bulging cheek for a smile. Okay, I'm gonna go to 4 and bring this a little bit more forward so we really clear the teeth. Yeah, and I'm going to try to fix this without pushing too far beyond the limit. And then once I've gotten a successful result, then I'll push it and do some further cleaning. All right, so this is about a good point. Let's see if I can move this thing a little higher. Yeah, not that. That should be what the maximum is. And then pushing beyond that would help. Okay, so I'm going to go apply. All right, so now if I move my smile, yeah, I have a lot more of a better shape. And now I'm going to be a little bit more careful with how I am editing these weights. And without being aggressive initially, what I'm just going to do is do some smoothing, right? Because the first issue that needs to be fixed before I start really playing around is the faceting. So you're going to just see me go through and do some smoothing. I'm just going to rush through this because I've already done a lot of it and it's mostly just smoothing. So without doing any reassignments, I'll just smooth first and see what Advanced Skeleton does with less faceted weighting results.